You're watching Good Boy. You're watching Good Boy. Fighting just to save our lives. Got you laughing every night.
Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back. And I want to see.
Let's
I
see
didn't
what
get to
Beef's
see any of
done.
this stuff with Beef.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice when I came out of the portal that I logged in and I was like, "Oh, good, you're decorated." Like, no, this is what Beef was doing the whole time.
Yeah.
So this looks nice. What did he do over here?
She rechased this whole walkway here.
Oh, I like this little jaunt out to the
where the duck
relaxing
lives.
lake. Is where who lives?
The duck.
Oh, this is the chicken duck.
I don't know where he went. He got off to somewhere.
He's on his own journey.
You know, every time you change the version of the game, it turns auto jump back on.
Not for me.
Really? Like every time I go to 1.8 and then come back to this, I have auto jump on.
Are you reinstalling your instance?
I'm just
as
changing.
long as I've changed the one instance and don't do any modifications to that instance itself, it keeps my screen resolution, my settings, all that stuff.
He added like a little bit out on the roof of the barn. Though I think it needs it on the sides too. I think he probably planned on doing that and he never got that far.
It looks nice.
I don't know if he fixed the part he pointed out. He didn't fix where he pointed out on each side that was messed up.
That might stay forever. Just because.
And he prettied up the hallway here too.
He didn't pretty up anything in my silo.
Yeah, he must not have got that far. The hallway looks pretty good though.
Oh, wow. It looks so natural.
Except for the floor, but yeah. Well, I don't know if natural's the right word, but yeah, it does. It looks good.
Yeah, it looks like, granted, yeah, obviously you don't find this stuff in Minecraft, but it looks like more real life. It's not just one type of brick all the way through. It's broken up to look like it's kind of supposed to exist like that in nature. In a way.
In nature.
So I had this weird experience when I came home from work today.
Oh yeah?
I was pulling
You had a package on the porch, and it was actually there.
No, it does not have to do with the package on the porch. there was a package. It existed. Life is different now.
My mail was delivered successfully.
No, so I parked across the street from where my house is, and the light when you come across the street, when you hit the button for the walk signal, it takes forever for it to actually change. And I'm sitting there and looking across the street and watching a guy had gotten pulled over right before I parked, like pretty much right in front of my house, but just like 2 or 3 houses down, but the cop was behind him, closer to my house. And as I'm sitting there watching him across the street, it was these 2 officers talking to this guy in this car, and I couldn't hear what they were saying. And I start hearing them more and more as I'm standing there waiting for the light to change. And I hear him saying, "Sir, you really need to listen to us. Why aren't you answering our questions?" And so I started paying a lot more attention. I'm like, holy shit, what is going on over here? And this guy, I couldn't hear anything he was saying, if he was saying anything from within the car, but I finally started to walk across the street, and as I started to walk across the street, the officer, I'm walking toward their car now, because they're parked right where I'm walking across, and I hear one of the officers be like, "Okay, fine, sir, if that's what it's going to be, you're not going to listen to us, get out of the car right now." And then I hear the other one say, "Sir, step out of the vehicle." And then I heard them start yelling, "Step out of the vehicle, sir. Why are you not listening to what we're telling you to do?" And I was like, "Oh damn, this is getting intense here." So
Did you feel like maybe you shouldn't be walking towards them anymore?
Well, I walked around them. I walked toward them and turned right, and walked literally next to them in the car and continued past them to my house. And I got into my driveway area, or my front driveway area, and the yelling had gotten much, much, much louder at this point. And I turned around to see what was going on, and I see them start to they try to open up the door to have the guy get out. And I don't know exactly what's happening, but long story short, this guy he's not listening to anything these officers are telling him to do. No, he wasn't deaf. Yeah, because I can tell you why momentarily that he wasn't deaf. But he obviously is not listening. He apparently hasn't been listening the whole time. Like I said, I don't know exactly what he was saying though, but the officers were trying to get him to say things. He obviously wasn't, because I kept in more and more. Why are you not listening to what we're saying? You need to start listening to what we're saying. Why aren't you answering our questions? Fine, get out of the car.
I'm in bed.
And they get louder and louder and louder. So I turn around and I look, and they start to open up the door, and I'm like, well, shit, I don't know what's about to happen here. Things are getting a little bit more intense. My cameras that I have in front of my house aren't pointed that direction. So I'm like, maybe I should tape this just in case something happens. So I pull out my phone and start to put it up there to tape. And as I pull out my phone, this guy tries to slam the door back shut. So the officers start wrestling with him in the car, and they're forcing him out of the car essentially, because he's completely resisting everything that they're doing and trying to push back at them. And I'm flustered at this point because I was getting my phone out just to make sure it was there recording in case something happened. I don't have it recording yet. You're in bed. I don't have it recording yet, so I'm trying faster to get it recording. I literally finally get it recording as they're scuffling kind of in the street and by the door, and this guy's throwing him, trying to throw the officers off of his back, and two of them are grabbing onto him. And I was thinking to myself, holy shit, what am I supposed to do here? Am I just supposed to watch? Am I supposed to call somebody else? But I heard some other cop cars start coming down the street, so I was like, okay, there's more officers obviously on the way.
Yeah, I don't think you're ever supposed to get involved, are you? You never.
No, you're really not supposed to get involved, but I didn't know how out of hand it was getting. I didn't know if the guy was overpowering them or what was really happening. And granted, I didn't know the situation at all to know, is this guy resisting because he's on something? And you're never supposed to get involved, because especially if those are the case, what am I going to do in that case? Oh, officer, I'll come help you. No, that's not what you're supposed to do at all. So this is the fucked up part, though. I look over, and this is just as I had gotten my phone up and turned on and recording, while it's in the middle of this big scuffle. This SUV is coming down the street on the other side of the street, driving about 2 miles an hour past this as it's happening. And all that is happening is this woman is yelling out the window at the officers yelling, he's not resisting, you guys. This is police brutality.
Oh my God.
Get your hands off of him. This is police brutality. I seen the whole thing. Clearly she did not, because I was there the whole time. She had just literally pulled up at that moment.
Wow.
She starts slowly driving. They're like, miss, just keep on driving. So they obviously started to get him under control. So they're now talking a little bit calmer. And they're like, miss, just keep on driving. She's like, no, I saw it all. He didn't resist at all. You guys are police brutality. This is, I'm going to, get you guys in so much trouble. I don't know what else she was yelling. She looks over at me and sees me with the camera and goes, see, he saw the whole thing. He saw the whole thing. He knows what's going on.
Oh, God.
I said, no, he wasn't. And I'm just standing there, and I'm standing in my driveway, she's in the road, and I said, no, he wasn't. And she goes, see, he said it. He said he wasn't resisting. Exactly. He said he wasn't resisting. And I said, no, ma'am. I said, he was resisting. He wasn't listening to what they said. Oh, no, he wasn't. You're such a liar. Instantly, now I'm, the person who's been there the whole time. I was their biggest buddy at first because she saw me with the camera.
Oh, God. And so but that's the thing that's so crazy at this point is if you were recording, she has to know that you know what the hell happened.
Well, but the thing is, she clearly didn't know what happened. She just pulled up at that moment.
Right.
She hadn't seen anything. So even if from her vantage point, when she actually pulled up, it didn't look like he was resisting anymore because they had finally gotten him under control. I don't even know, but that really wasn't the case. They were still in the middle of the scuffle when all this was going on. I was just you see all this stuff in the news and you hear about all this stuff all the time with the police brutality. And yes, there's obviously been some terrible things that have happened and excessive use of violence and people getting injured or killed in relation to it. But I don't know exactly what it is, if it's caused this panic from all these people that instantly anything that's happening is all of a sudden a police brutality issue. Because this was just dumbfounding to me that she could come out of nowhere and start claiming police brutality on things that she didn't even see what was going on. And then yell at me because I disagreed with her as the person who'd been there the whole time watching all this go down.
Yeah, it is that's a bit, just, yeah. Yeah. Hey, I don't want to change the subject, but I got something. I don't know what it is. What is this thing?
Oh, it's an observer.
Oh, well, I could read.
Putting this thing on it. Yeah, apparently you can just put stuff on top of it. You can't like right click it. It observes for block updates and puts out a redstone signal.
Oh, so like if...
I was trying to use it to build the chicken farm, and the concept I had didn't work.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Carry on.
It's
It's like some shit out of modded or something.
So basically, it's one of the newer. It's basically a bud switch detector. Instead of having to build bud switches anymore, this will do it for you. It'll detect if like grass grows or. So do you have any redstone on you? 'Cause I don't.
No.
To see if that actually works the way I think it does. But either way, that's what it is. That's what this modded piece of machinery is. But it's just like I don't understand. Like, so after they got him under control, he started yelling over toward me too when she pointed out that I had a camera. He started yelling. The guy started yelling over to me too. See what they're doing to me, and he just kind of like he stood there at that point like he was doing nothing wrong this whole time, even though I was standing there. So it was just a very.
Do they have body cams in DC yet?
So I think they do, and I hope they do, and I hope this comes out, and maybe that's why. But after these two guys left, after they called for backup, 4 other cop cars and like a police van showed up all at the same time. So there was a bunch of cops on the scene, and I was determined that they were going to come over and knock on the door after they got it all settled down to get a statement from me as to what happened. Because, obviously somebody pointed out that I was there witnessing it. And,
right.
And I had a camera in my hand. They could see it. I mean, we were only, 20 feet away from each other. It's not like they were far. You could see the cop car on my camera that's outside of my house. You just couldn't see the car it pulled over. Like, that's how close they were.
Right.
And nobody ever came.
Huh.
I was kind of surprised they didn't want to come get a statement as to what.
Well, I mean, I guess they know what happened.
And if they have body cams, maybe that makes sense. Maybe they don't need my statement because it's all like, don't get a statement from a random person when you have a body cam that's going to show exactly what happened instead. Right. So, and hopefully that is the, that's what it is. But I will tell you, I was so dumbfounded because it was, this woman clearly hadn't seen anything and her instantly is just calling for police brutality. And that's the way that people are going to like get in shit tons of trouble with their reputations for no reason is when things like that happen. And it's kind of sad.
Yeah. What do you think about body cams? Do you think that all police should have them?
Yes, I absolutely do. And it's funny because my dad's a police officer and I asked him and he does not think that they should have them.
Really?
And a lot of police officers don't think that they should have them because they feel like it's kind of an invasion of privacy. But
you're a public servant, though.
Well, so I get you completely. I was like, oh God, my dad's going to be one of these people. And he goes, yeah, because what they're doing is they're mandating that we get body cams at my police station, but nobody will say who pays for it. So he's against it because they're basically forcing them in Michigan at his station to get them. But nobody will foot the bill for it. So they're trying to just say this small little department all of a sudden has to foot the bill for it, and they don't have the money to do so. That's why he's upset.
It should be a taxpayer thing, right? Like, who pays their salary? Taxpayers do, right?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they're government. I guess his is local government. Though the place he's at, he was a state policeman for many years. Now he's at a local jurisdiction because he's retired from the state police. So it would be like the local government. But I guess how do you?
It's still got to be taxes, though, right? It's
yeah,
not like they.
So?
It's not like they're making money somehow.
Yeah, but how do you just increase that amount if you were mandating that they get them like by the end of the year? Do they just give them a chunk of money and say these are from taxes?
I would think so. I would think it would be like it's like part of the budget. Like instead of you don't get something, instead you get. You don't get the new cars that you get now. You get new cameras.
Yeah, but I guess that would, if that's what you're doing, you're taking away some of the other things that they potentially need that they have to buy on a yearly basis or whatnot that they're not going to be able to afford this time because.
Right, but I mean, I think there's arguments to be had that you can lose money in lawsuits and other things if you don't have these sort of evidence.
That's true. That is a good argument to make on the counterpoint. But like you said, I do completely believe that they should be required. Anybody who's upholding the law and has any authority over anybody else should kind of have to be able to prove themselves that what they're doing is appropriate. In
Sure.
my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of weird that like people like. I mean, I guess airports probably have lots of cameras around, so there's evidence that maybe you don't need the body cameras. But yeah, I think any kind of enforcement person should have.
Yeah. Anybody who has the authority to arrest me and then it becomes a my word against your word type of situation, absolutely. I
Right. And it's kind of a
should
weird
be.
thing where like if you don't agree with them and submit to them, they have the authority to hit you, but you don't have the authority to hit them.
True, you'd get like a felony for
Right.
assaulting an officer, and I guess I would actually I need to talk to my dad about it or just maybe read the internet because I'm sure it says it somewhere on like what is their authority they have like when because all the excessive force issues what's been coming up a lot lately and the whole police brutality thing that this woman was saying what constitutes excessive force you can't just like make it up on the fly there has to be something that constitutes it or it really can't be something that holds up right. You do have authority at some point to do use some type of force on people.
Yeah. It's all weird to me when you think about it. Like there's just this group of people that I mean without body, I mean they can be as rogue as they want to be, really.
Right. And then it's your word against theirs.
Right. And I'm sure there's corruption, there's corruption in all forms of employment. Like no matter what kind of job you have, there's people that are doing it wrong or doing the wrong thing, and they know they're doing it wrong and the wrong thing. And if you have enough of those people together colluding, then I mean, if you are the law, you can get. I mean, like my dad was a cop as well, and he would talk about just the stuff that like they would let each other slide on, like as far as like speeding, those sort of things. I mean, these aren't big offenses, but like
it's kind of the all about who you know type of thing.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. It's like yeah. I'll let you go. And I guess there is an essence of professional courtesy. It's called. It's helped me in the past. I'll tell you, and I'm not saying it's right, but it has. I got a speeding ticket, and it's funny. My dad went with me to my court date when I got a speeding ticket, and it was just like a magistrate hearing. It wasn't like a full fledged court date, but he he found out the officer that gave me the ticket, and I guess he went over to him. This is my dad's style too. He went over to him and said, just let you know, sir, I'm here with that gentleman over there, and he like pointed at me. Didn't say he was a cop. Didn't say he was my dad. Didn't say any of that stuff. And he just said, first thing I want to know is when you pulled him over, how did he treat you? And I guess he asked the officer this. The officer was like, wait, what? It was like, how did he treat you? Did he treat you with respect, or did he treat you like, was he unruly? And luckily, like I've grown up to know not to treat disrespect officers and things like that. You're never going to get out of a speeding ticket by disrespecting an officer. You have a chance of getting out of it if you're respectful and hope that they want to have leniency on you. And he was like, no, I remember him. He was he was respectful. It was fine. Nothing major comes to mind. And that's when he said, okay, that out of the way. Now I'll say, I'm an officer. I'm his father. It's his first offense. Is there any way that, that you can help us out? We can drop this to a lower charge of some type so he doesn't have any points against his license. And the officer was like, yeah, professional courtesy. I'll help you out. Like I said, I'm not saying that that's right.
Yeah.
I've utilized it and it's helped me. And it was all about, kind of like all about who you know. But also it was partially because, I was apparently respectful enough that the officer was willing to do that. And my dad was willing to go to bat about it. What do you think about the cams though? Are you the same way as me then? You think
Yeah, no, I mean like I said, I think that that any time you have that kind of authority, or it's like especially when you have the authority to kill people. I mean, this isn't like Judge Dredd where I am the law. So like I think that if someone can carry a gun and has the authority to kill people, then there should be a permanent record of everything they're doing.
Would you take it a step further and even say like where something big, medical malpractice is big, right? Should every surgical case be recorded to be used to see if it's like a potential malpractice suit, or if a malpractice suit comes up, so you can.
I mean, honestly, that okay. So my only question there is, so like when it comes to like this type of stuff with the police officer, I feel like a jury can look at the data and make a sound decision on what they see and what happened. I would question whether or not a jury could look at a surgery and put fault would have the knowledge as to what the doctor should or should not have done at the time to be able to
Okay.
put blame.
I'm with you there, but is it usually a jury that goes after like a malpractice case?
Well, see, yeah, I don't know how malpractice is done.
The pigmen are wearing pumpkins.
What for Halloween?
I
Oh
would
yeah,
think-
lots of things are wearing pumpkins.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a
I just-
skeleton with pumpkins.
I just happened to be in the Nether, and it's the pigmen wearing pumpkins.
I don't know how malpractice is treated. I think it is held in the court, isn't it?
I actually have no idea. I've never been part of a malpractice suit. I was just kidding. I was just using it as an example. But I understand your point. If that is a jury thing, yeah, you're right. That's extremely difficult to have a jury decide, oh, malpractice is within the surgical case. I'm just trying to think of things that, where else could body cams be beneficial? And I think, so isn't it like England that's got like basically CCTV all within the whole like inner city block, pretty much.
Oh,
Everything is recorded?
all of London is visible on.
I'll be honest, I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. There's nowhere you can go inside
I
of
got a
London.
wither after me. Oh, good, a skeleton shot him. So he's pissed off at the skeleton, but I still withered away and died. Apparently, he hit me a lot lower than I realized.
But yeah, I don't mind that as someone that's there visiting. I don't know who's watching that shit all the time though.
God, that would be. Do you think there's like a room where people are just watching it all the
Oh,
time?
yeah.
You think it's just something? You don't think it's just something that's pulled out when
No.
something happens?
No. It's so they can, and they have one of the best facial recognition setups in the world. I think it is the best in the world. So like
You
if
think
you're
it's like
on a
bunch of-
like
a bunch of iPhones are just staring at the screen.
yes, that's exactly how it works.
That would make sense to me.
What do you think about people's argument with that? What you just brought up, the whole iPhone 10, it can be unlocked with your face. So it has facial recognition software that allows it to be unlocked with your face. It's legal.
Unlock it with your face. It
Just
sounds
like
a-
rub your
a
face on it.
next, next insult. It sounds like it's gonna be.
So it's legal for a police officer to use your finger to unlock your phone once you're in handcuffs, apparently.
I didn't know that.
I've read this a few times, and so I believe it to be true. I haven't like asked a lawyer, I guess, but I've read this on several occasions that this is the case. These chickens.
I've never heard that before. It doesn't mean it's not true. That's something that never even crossed my mind. It almost seems like forcing entry into something that, like, if I'm arrested, do you have the authority to go through my phone if it's unlocked?
Yes.
Do you have the authority to go through my phone if it's locked with a pin?
No, you can't. I mean, you don't have. You're not under any obligation to give that pin to the officer, basically.
Real, but they're allowed to use your finger to unlock.
Right.
The
There is
phone.
a keystroke you can do that locks your phone. Actually, if you force your phone off, it requires the
first
pin.
time you have to put
Yeah,
in your
so
actual pattern or pin or whatever.
If getting arrested and you don't want them to look at your phone, it's recommended that's what you do.
Just turn it off as quick as you can.
Yeah.
That baffles me. That is allowed.
Why?
If you're not allowed to,
You can ask for the pin.
but you don't have to ask for my fingerprint
Yeah.
on the phone, using it on the phone.
Right.
I mean, that's almost like that's essentially the same as you've arrested me for something, so you took the keys out of my pocket and you can go search my house. And maybe that's true, in certain cases, but wouldn't you need like a warrant to do so if it like the
Yeah,
house wasn't
you definitely
involved?
do. Like you can't just walk up in someone's house. I want to like look this up so that I'm being accurate. But I don't have a good way of doing that. My phone's in the other room.
Well, and your phone's probably locked, and since you're not under arrest, nobody can force you to.
Uh,
I wish things like blazes wore pumpkins.
maybe they do. Maybe you just haven't seen enough of them yet.
That's true. I'm trying to go find where my stuff's at, but I feel like I'm coming into this fortress from a different way, which doesn't make any sense at all. Because I just took the same path back. Is that you saying you got your phone?
All right, well, verify that I'm not speaking out my ass. So apparently, I got the Voyager.
Oh God, the Wither's back! I didn't. I thought I had juked him. I was wrong.
Judged.
You got the Voyager ending wrong. I did see a lot of comments that said you got it wrong. The problem is, since I've never seen it, I don't know how to.
Yeah, so like what actually happened, and I remembered it once people started commenting about it. So they got back on their own, and they were really old when they finally got back. And Janeway borrowed time travel technology from the Klingons, went back and showed them a way they could get home faster, basically. So they still got sent off into the Delta Quadrant or whatever it was, but they got home many years sooner as a result of her sharing how to get back and and they blew up a big section of the Borg. They didn't destroy the Borg completely.
So many incorrect facts. But who did they tell that they got there faster? They ran into themselves.
They
earlier
went and told
selves?
themselves.
And it still got them there faster. So, okay, I like how that saved some of the problems I had with the time travel concept, which was that you couldn't have stolen the technology, destroyed a race, gone back in time to stop yourself from going back, and still having actually stolen the technology anymore because you'd never gone back to do it. So it covers.
Oh,
that
my game
part
just
of
crashed. Or
That's
no, it didn't. That was weird.
Wait.
Well, they got a view of my desktop.
a beautiful view of your desktop.
I think I got a message on Steam. Something happened on Steam, and it made that the.
Oh God, I'm about to die again. Uh-oh. One of the things that I lost. I've gotten most of the stuff back, but apparently one of the things I did not get back was food. And it must have gone over the edge, and oh wait, I see it down there and I can't get to it. So I'm gonna run out of food out here. What a sad day. Oh wait, I can go back into this portal. The whole reason I came in here was I was gonna come get some sand, and then I decided to go all the way to the all the way to this tunnel.
So, a circuit court judge in Virginia ruled that fingerprints are not protected by the Fifth Amendment, and so police can use your fingerprint to unlock your phone, regardless of your decision.
That is insane to me. And that was a circuit court
in Virginia
ruling.
Yep.
And when was this? Does it say a year? It's got to be relatively recent, I would assume.
No, it's 2014.
I mean, relatively recent.
Here's another article from 2016. Can police force you to use your fingerprint to unlock your phone? Yeah. It just references the same thing that in Virginia. In 2014, the police can force users to unlock their smartphones with their fingerprints.
I am just shocked. So basically, moral of the story is don't have a smartphone with fingerprint unlocking capabilities.
If you're...
Because where does it end at this point? Like, they can unlock your smartphone, sure. Can they then get into my bank statements?
Probably it's on your email, right?
Yeah. But is that what they're allowed to?
I think you're allowed to look
usually,
at
like,
anything on your phone at that point, right?
Well, because I go back into my bank, or if I go to my bank app, I still have to put in my fingerprint again. It's not just the act of unlocking the phone that gets me into it.
Yeah, that's a good
Like,
question. Like, how many times can that fingerprint be used? Just unlocking the phone, or can they just keep on going?
Yeah, because then they could get into like pretty much everything that you would think is much more protected. It sounds like it's less protected than using
Right. Yeah.
a number pad. And I'm not saying that I'm one of those people that's got a lot of stuff to hide, but I kind of I don't like the concept of.
Well, so I mean, I guess that was my next question. How do you feel about the face thing? Because the face thing makes all you do is point the phone at their face.
Yeah, you point the phone at their face and you can get in anything you want. I mean, I guess if they've already got the fingerprint thing, what's it matter?
Right. Yeah, this is true. Have you got your stuff back?
Yeah, and I found a village in the overworld out here, so I'm getting some food.
All right. We are out of time. That's why I wanted to see.
All right, guys. Well, we will see you in the next episode.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.